Welcome to Coinology, the podcast.
You ain't getting no money if you constantly worried about what everybody else got to say. If you constantly got your eyes on what everybody else doing, you ain't getting no money. When it comes down to closing a deal, I get it done. Every single one. I'm the certified deal closer.
Welcome to Coinology, the podcast. I've seen you over the years creating and building and creating. I think when I first met you was probably at the NBA All-Stars gifting suite. We
Probably,
did a long, and you weren't there.
Long time ago.
A long time ago. This is when you were doing the shoes. You had the shoe brand with the blue bottoms. This is when everybody was really excited about the Christian Louboutins and the red bottoms. You came out. Someone said it's a girl. She's in Atlanta. She has some new shoes out with the blue bottoms, and you had those. And so since then, I've seen you build and grow. You've done that. You've done the lashes, skincare, bag line, jewelry. Like, you've done it all, right?
Yep, construction, some of everything.
Everything.
Yes.
And just 40.
I'm 40.
40 years old.
I just turned 40.
And did it all.
I've did a lot.
Done a lot.
Haven't did it all yet, but I've done a lot.
You've done a lot,
Yes.
right? So, but you're going to keep on going, right?
Absolutely. Every day.
That's right. So let's step back a little bit. Where are you from, Shaunell?
I'm from New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Certain ward? What part?
I grew up in the East. And then when I was about 12, 13, we moved to the West Bank, which is like Algiers, Gretna, the 15th. People don't really respect the West Bank like they do those other wards, but that is the hood. I tell people I'm perfectly fine without being where the ratchets and roaches are.
I know that's right.
I'm okay with being from Gretna. That is where a lot of the Caucasians are. We have clean water there.
All right.
You know, we don't have many rats or roaches crawling around in our bedrooms. So people like to make fun of it. And then I just say, well, I'm perfectly fine without having rats and roaches as my cousin.
I know that
lived with me.
That's right.
So I'm okay with that.
You know, I was just having a conversation with somebody before coming in here about how we grew up during a period where it wasn't cool to be smart, or it wasn't cool to come from, I guess, modest beginnings. Like if you came from middle class or whatever, that you had to be from the hood in order to be respected. But you're saying that, hey, that wasn't your situation.
No, and I tell people all the time, like, you don't have to come from the hood to still have a hard life and still have hard things that happen. I don't have that my lights was off story. I don't have that I had to share my shoes story, but I still have a story, you know, and it's pretty interesting, but everybody doesn't have to come from that to experience things in life. I came from a really good house. You know, we always had everything, and that's a part of me today in the sense of I want what I want, and I don't like to get told no, and you have to blame my mama for that.
Okay.
Like, it's not my fault.
So were you raised with mom and dad, or just mom?
So for 12 years, it was mom and dad. And then dad didn't know how to act, so mom had to, part ways with him. And then it was mom plus whatever boyfriend she had at the time, until she got husbands. My mom's been married 4 times, so we had all kind of little stepdads and stuff around there. But life was good. Like, life was not... It wasn't hard. Like, if you wanted candy at the store, I had a conversation the other day. Somebody was like, oh, I couldn't even get the candy bars out the store. I don't know that story. Because if I wanted a candy bar, I was able to put it on the counter.
And get it.
And I didn't get, don't touch nothing. Why? Like, we can't have one thing.
Don't come in here and ask for nothing.
Don't ask for nothing.
Right.
And a guy that I'm dating, we was having that conversation, and how he acts now is a reflection of his childhood. And I tell him we're so different because I come from, if you want it, get it. And even if we want another pair of shoes, you have to do this, this, and this to receive it. It wasn't, no, you can't have it. So in life today, I don't really take no well, and I don't respect no's, because if I want it, I can have it. I just have to figure out how to get it.
Were you the only child?
I'm the middle child.
You're the so brothers, sisters?
I have an older sister and a younger brother with my mom and dad.
Okay.
And then my dad has 8 of us, so he went and had all kind of babies. He deposited himself all over the world, honey. Once him and my mama broke up, okay? When they got a divorce, honey, he just
went out there.
He just went all over the world and decided. So I have a little sister that just graduated high school in May.
Okay.
She just turned 18. So we range from 43 to 18.
Okay. So pretty busy.
Yeah.
He was pretty busy. So, okay, high school. How was high school for you? Were you a cheerleader, involved in lots of sports?
So, girl, I was a cheerleader. I was on track. Anything I can get my hands on, I did it. I'm a very talkative person. I'm a very outgoing person. So I want to be involved. And I want to be involved in more than one thing. So I was doing cheer. I was doing track and all that until maybe like the 9th grade. And no, the 10th grade. And after that, I didn't do nothing.
So what happened in the 10th grade?
Well, I had my son in the 9th grade going into the 10th grade.
Okay.
And so I went to this school called Edna Carr. And it was like a magnet school. So it was all bougie and fancy. You got to take a test to get in. Long story short, the moms of the girls on the cheerleading team didn't want me around their daughter because I had a kid. I was the only person in the whole school that had a kid.
Okay, so let's back up. Don't school. So you came from this well-to-do family at an excellent magnet school.
Pretty good.
9th grade, pregnant. How did you? So let's talk a little bit about that. The moment that you found out that you were pregnant. So 14.
I was 15.
15. How did you process that?
I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I never had an ill feeling about it.
You never thought about
I do not know why, right? I tell people to this day, I've even went to therapy to see if I can locate the feeling somewhere. I have never had an ill feeling when I found out I was having a baby.
The only girl in the school.
The only human in the school. Only person. Thousands of people.
Wow. So did you come to school and tell the teachers that you were pregnant? Or did you just allow them to see your stomach
They
grow?
just ended up with me with a baby.
So you just came to school.
I came to the 10th grade with a child.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Right. And so then the other parents were trying to keep you from
keep me away from their kids.
Right.
But the issue is they kids was under the bleachers. They kids was going to Alabama to get abortions. Because these are all stories I know. You get what I'm saying? And I'm just like, you don't want me with your daughter. And your daughter just slept with 10 people. I slept with just one man. But the difference was I decided to keep my child and everybody hid their children.
Was your mom supportive of you keeping your son?
Girl, now you answer that question yourself. Do you think that my mama was going for that? In the beginning, she wasn't.
Okay.
She was just like, what are you gonna do? You have so much going for you. Like, because I'm pretty smart. And I've always been pretty smart. And so it was like the direction that me and all my siblings were going in was a pretty decent direction. Like when you don't come from the hood, they expect greatness from you, right? And so this was something that they thought wasn't so great. They thought it wasn't so positive, and that it would take me and go backwards in life. And so my whole family is full of like nurses and doctors and like just occupational therapists and physical therapists. So my family have their life together, but they have their life together in what they perceive to be, I have my life together, right? And not saying that they don't. If they ever watch this, I'm not judging y'all. But having your life together isn't about having a college degree and going to get a good job. But my whole family, that was their motto. So it was like, you be smart, you finish school, you go to college, you get a degree, and you go get you a job. Some of them have master's degrees. Some people have, a little bit of whatever it is they needed for their particular profession. So me having a kid is like, wait, this is not the vision. This is not what our family does. That's for the hood girls in the hood in the project. How is this traveling to Gretna? You get what I'm saying?
Right. The neighbors.
She don't see this. Like, where did she even get this idea that this was okay?
Right.
Like, because my mom, she didn't drink, she didn't smoke. Still to this day, you couldn't bring no liquor in her house. You couldn't bring a cigarette in her house. Her house was real calm and peaceful. So it was like, who taught you this? Who taught you that you should say you're going to have this child? It caused disarray in the whole family. And then ultimately, after I told my mom once or twice that I wasn't getting an abortion, she was like, okay, well, we're doing this.
Okay. So she eventually said, we're going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, because my mom has always been supportive of all her kids. She didn't like the decision. She didn't like it, but she respected the decision.
Why was an abortion not an option for you?
I just, in my soul, I didn't want to do it. I do not know why, right? But still to this day, I'm 40. He's my only child. He's my only kid, my only living kid. I've had 12 miscarriages in life. One of my sons died January of 2023. He was born, he lived like 10 minutes. So I have had 7 second trimester losses. So this is my only living, breathing, healthy kid. So I think it was God, because I don't have any other children. So if I would have gotten rid of him, I would have had all these miscarriages. I would have had that abortion, and I would not have any children.
That's right. So did you and the baby's father stay together during that time?
Now you know how that story ends. We are not about to pretend, girl.
Okay.
That man was the biggest thought they had thoughtin', okay? And I was just a little boo-boo the fool, and I picked him up out the project where my mama told me I wasn't supposed to go. So that was another part of the problem. It was like, where did you meet this guy? But so the project was maybe like a mile away from where we lived. So when my mom would be at work, I would walk to the project. And it was so fun there. Girl, they had double dutch.
A whole nother life, right?
Girl, they had Rice Krispie treats. Girl, they had pig feet. Girl, they had jump ropes. Girl, them girls had a good time. My block was dry. A bunch of white people. Ain't nobody outside playing with each other. The few little neighbors we had, they were white. And then the little guys down the street, they were all boys and they were bad. So we had to stay away from them. But them white folks didn't want their kids to play with us.
So you had to go find your own friends.
So I went and found me some friends. I still talk to those same people too. And I love them to death. But
so you ended up baby in 10th grade.
Yes.
Okay. And then did you graduate from school?
Yep. Graduated from high school.
Okay.
So the school was trying to kick me out.
Oh.
So they were just done with me as a human.
So they thought you were a bad example for the other kids.
Right, because you're supposed to be at this magnet school. You're supposed to be this smart person. You're supposed to have all these great things. So I was still smart. I still had my grades together. But because I had this baby and nobody, I don't, now that I'm 40, I don't judge the teachers and the principals because they only know what they've seen. They had never seen what I was doing. So they were like, this doesn't fit our model. This doesn't fit our way of what people think of our school. This is for Landry. This is for Walker. This isn't for Etna Carr. So they were just trying to get the bad seed up out of their school. And that's how they looked at it. Because the teachers would be like, well, you just need to go to community college. Like, you're not going to be anything. You should just drop out and get a GED. I said, well, why do I need to do all these things? And I'm still passing every test more than some of the people that study every day. Like,
so they just wrote you off.
They wrote me off. So no more cheerleading, no more track, no more. And I was pretty good at track. I liked it. And I was pretty good at cheerleading.
Would you have been able to still cheer and track with the baby, though? Would you have been able to do that and still had the baby at home, you know?
I think so, because my son doesn't have a great father, but he has a great grandma and a great grandpa. And my son's father parents are amazing. And they will be like, we don't have no money, but we can watch him as long as you need us to watch him. And he gonna eat. Might be peanut butter and jelly. Might be whatever they eating, right? But they have never, and I mean never, said that he couldn't come there. So they allowed me, between them and my mom, allowed me the ability to still be a kid. So again, like I can drop, they were a mile away. So I can push them in the stroller up there and they would take, I didn't even have to call. You didn't even have to call them. You can just show up. Somebody's going to be at the house.
So with the I guess the counselors and everyone telling you you're not going to amount to anything, go to a community college, did you still dream? that you still have a dream of, I want to do this?
I've been the biggest dreamer my whole life. I'm still a dreamer. Like at 40, I have the biggest dreams in the world. And when they told me those things, I just always knew I was going to show them who I was. I was not going to let their perspective of me be the definition of who I was. So just because you think I'm something don't mean I have to accept that to be my reality. And so from the negative stuff, I just continue to excel. I continue to do well in school. I graduated from that school with honors. You get what I'm saying? And I continue to just be as great as I can be. So what it taught me at a young age is people are going to be against you. And you are going to have to fight through a whole lot of things in life. And for me, it started in the 19th grade.
So you graduate from high school. You now have a baby. Graduate with honors. What was next for you?
So I got married.
Oh, so you immediately got married.
I got married when I was like 18.
So 18.
At some point in that same year or so, I got married.
Did you marry him because you needed a father for the baby, or did you just actually fall in love with him?
I did need a father for my baby. Everybody wanted to play dad. Not sure what that was about, but it was a lot of people that wanted to be a dad that was not his dad. So he didn't have a lack in that area.
Okay.
I think as an adult now he does, because he know his real dad is just not quite, a father, and he see other fathers. But at that time he didn't. The first guy that I married, we went to high school together, but we got married because he went to the Marines. And in the Marines, if you get married, you actually get like an extra $2,000 a month, and you don't have to stay in like the barracks or something with another guy. They give you a house for your family. But only the people that received their houses were only the married couples. If you was a single guy, you got a roommate with, I don't know, 3-4 other people, and however is you roommate. So he was like, we just need to get married so that I can get a house and so that you can come here, because he had got stationed in San Diego. And so I was like, okay, cool.
So it wasn't even about I love you.
I mean, we liked each other, I think.
But not love.
No, it was a business decision.
Okay. So you went into it with short-term goals?
No, in my brain, I thought we was going to be together. I'm like, I'm going to be a military wife. I'm going to get these benefits. Because I had saw military wives. I had seen it, the idea of it. And when I got into it, I was like, oh, no, this is not good enough.
Oh, not good enough. So
it wasn't good enough.
So the lifestyle wasn't good enough. Or what wasn't good enough about it?
It just wasn't enough money. It wasn't enough. My whole life, I have felt like I was just this princess, and I'm only supposed to have a life of luxury. I do not know who taught me that, okay? But in my opinion, I'm not supposed to have bare minimum and basic nothing. And that house was basic. His income was basic at that time. Like, we're 18.
Now, how long did it take you to figure that out?
2 months.
2 months. And so how do you let him know this is not going to work?
I'm going home, is what I said.
Oh.
Do y'all hear me? I'm going home.
So you told him this is not working.
I'm going home.
So did he try to stop you?
Oh, we had the biggest fight of fights in the history. I ended up with black eyes, bruised ribs. He's now a convicted felon, and he got kicked out of the military. Because I calls the police. Don't touch me. So it didn't work out well.
So he had never hit you before that?
Never.
But because you wanted to go home, and you probably said a few things about this not...
I did not.
Okay.
I have a flip mouth for sure. But I was just like, this doesn't work for me. This isn't what I want to do with my life. And he's like, what do you mean? We planned all this out, and I want to be out here by myself. You just want to go home to a man. No, I do not want to go home to a man. I want to go home, though. But what are you going home to? I'm not sure. Don't have an answer for you. But this ain't where I'm staying at. California was amazing. It was nice. It was beautiful there. But I quickly realized me being a military wife to somebody that just came out of basic boot camp was not my aspiration.
Right. So how long were you guys married?
So, long story short, we was married for about 3 years. But it was because the military still gave me the $2,000 a month for 2 years. So for me not to call the civilian police, they wanted to handle it within the military. So the military police and the captains and the sergeant, all those people was like, listen, if you don't call the regular police and make this a thing, a civilian thing, we're going to, for 24 months, we're going to give you the extra pay and we're going to make sure you had insurance.
So again, your mind was still thinking about the business. It's a business.
Sign me up.
So how long did you feel as if you were married, not business?
2 months.
Just 2 months.
When I was in the hospital, we no longer married.
Okay. So
like,
that was
you have to go to jail.
Right.
Quick.
So then how long did he serve?
I think they may have put him in jail a month or so.
Because one thing I do know, they do a lot of cover-ups.
They covered it up.
Uh-huh.
But they paid me to cover it up.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't really keep up with it because when they called me and say, we're going to give you this money and we're going to give you this insurance, let us handle it, I never heard nothing else from there.
Ever.
So
have you ever heard anything from him?
Oh, I talk to him all the time.
Okay, so y'all good now.
Yeah, I mean, like 10 years later, he called me just to apologize. And what you have to do in life is just forgive people.
That's right.
Because you hold that into you. Mm-hmm. If I harbor it and hold it in, it hurts me. It doesn't hurt him. So I'm a big forgiver, though. I forgive a lot of people that do me wrong. You might not be able to be in my space. You might not be able to come back. But I forgive you because God always forgives me for the things that I do.
That's right. That's right. So at that time, you guys decided to divorce. What would you have done differently in marriage number one?
I probably wouldn't have got married at 18. You know nothing. Mm-hmm. But again, it was business. Like, so I didn't even know I was going to be an entrepreneur, but I have always thought with a business mindset. Mm-hmm. And as I get older, I'm like, all these decisions you made, girl, was because you thought it was a good business idea. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But my dad was an entrepreneur. I used to go to work with my dad. He used to own a company called We Will Rock You Sportswear. It's like Foot Locker. Mm-hmm. So he used to sell sneakers, the athletic clothes and stuff. And I went to work with my dad every day. I used to think my dad had a job. Mm-hmm. But when I got older, I realized, oh no, my mom and my dad owned this company. Mm-hmm. So my entrepreneurship comes from literally going to work with my dad every day. I didn't want to do the girly stuff. I wanted to sit there. I would look at him do the customers, ring everybody up. Didn't know what it was when I was seeing it. But I realized as an adult, like, I watched a business for years.
And that's important.
Yeah.
You have to see in order to know that you can actually do it. Okay, so then you decide after 3 years the divorce is final, right?
Well, once my money ran out.
Well, once your money ran out, you was done, okay?
What are we doing here? I mean, the next month that my money was cut short and my benefits, and I'm going to say those military medical benefits was the best benefits I have ever had in my life. Mm-hmm. So any military men out there, I'm available. You just got to be higher up on the ranks.
On the ranks.
Those benefits, the best in the world. And free, you spend no money.
Nothing.
Zero. I said,
and they take care of their people.
This makes a little bit of sense. Mm-hmm. I see why people join this thing. Mm-hmm. You know, it ain't my ministry, but I understand fully why people are part of the military.
Okay, so then we say goodbye to him, husband number one. Mm-hmm. How did you meet husband number two?
So when I was married to husband number one, I moved to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So I moved to Atlanta in 2004, August 15th, 2004. Okay. I moved to Atlanta. My sister got married August 14th, and at her reception, I got on the mic when everybody was about to leave. And I said, hey, everybody needs to meet me at my house because we're packing my house up. I'm moving to Atlanta. That's why I told everybody I was moving. I had already had a U-Haul. I already had the plan. Mm-hmm. I just needed to get my dad, all these people in one spot. And they all came in their suits, took their little jackets off, and put my stuff in the U-Haul.
Okay.
We got finished maybe like 12, 1 o'clock. I took a nap, woke up at about 3 or 4 o'clock and drove to Atlanta. So I was here, and it's a lot of people from New Orleans that's in Atlanta.
A whole lot.
And so I just started meeting New Orleans people. Mm-hmm. And so it was what was the name of that bowling alley? And I think it was Strip or something in Atlantic Station.
Okay.
I went there with a bunch of people from New Orleans. We're watching the Saints games because even though the Saints don't win, we just still in our hearts is a diehard Saints fan. Okay, so we gonna watch them boys break our heart every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing him there with a group of people, he knew he was from New Orleans too.
Okay,
so he knew everybody there, but I just didn't know him. And so that's how I met my second husband.
Okay, so at this point, you had already had in your mind, I'm not going after someone broke, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that was already in your mind.
That's been in my mind since I was a kid.
But you ended up marrying someone entry in the military.
Yeah. And that little 2000 wasn't going to cut it.
Wasn't going to cut it. But so in your mind at this point, you're saying, okay, he's from New Orleans. And are you already checking to see what the funds? So the funds have to be at a certain point at the rip. Is that what you're saying?
First question, what's your name? Second question, what do you do for a living?
So that's the first. Okay, so you automatically say that, right?
First and second question.
Okay.
Anybody I meet who like me, what's your name? You got to know their name first. I really don't care to know your name more than I care to know what you do for a living.
Okay.
You can skip the name part, but as a courtesy and to be nice and not to be so aggressive, I ask you what your name is, just for the kicks and giggles of that part. I need to know what you do. And he drilled for oil.
Okay.
So I Google drilling for oil offshore. Income looked good to me.
Okay.
So I said, we might be able to do something.
Okay.
And then I asked everybody else, and they was like, that's that rich boy. So in their brain, he was rich because he made 6 figures.
Okay.
So, and he was cute, fine. That thing's still cute and fine. Good God Almighty.
So off the bat, he met the 2 first criteria: cute, fine, and rich.
Oh, well, I don't need you to be cute.
You
I
don't.
date ugly.
You date ugly.
I date ugly, short, fat. I date.
But no.
Don't matter to me.
Right. But at this point, your non-compromisable point is
Income.
Can't be broke.
Can't be broke.
Can't be broke. Okay. So you meet him. Y'all start dating.
He's amazing.
Okay. How long?
Sweet.
How long did you guys date?
Probably for like a year or so before we got married.
Okay. Did he propose to you?
So he actually proposed on the phone, which was really weird. So I've been married 4 times, right? And I've never had a real proposal.
Okay.
Ever. And so it's just very interesting how I end up getting married.
Okay.
But he proposed on the phone when he was offshore, because I was like, I don't really like, we was about to break up.
Okay.
And I was like, he be gone too long. And then, like, it just wasn't working. I was working at the strip club then. So I had started meeting all the street guys. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Now, what were you doing at the strip club?
I was a waitress.
Okay.
So I was waitressing at the strip club. And I was just like, I'm making $15,000-$20,000 a month waitressing. All the street guys sticking me an extra $2,000-$3,000 in my pocket. So, girl, that little $100,000 wasn't cutting it no more.
Okay.
It
All
wasn't
right.
cutting it. God forgive me, Jesus.
So
God
immediately,
forgive me.
so again, you were turned off from him because the money wasn't.
Well, he had cheated too.
Okay.
So he.
Well, is cheating a deal breaker for you?
No.
It's not.
No.
Okay. And why is that?
The level of cheating determines my deal breaker.
Okay. So talk to me about that a little bit. What is the level? What do you mean by that?
I've never been faithful my whole life.
Okay.
I'm a girl and I'm 40. I have never, I don't care who you are, I have never not talked to somebody else.
Okay.
I've gone to therapy about that.
Now that's in marriage or out?
Both.
Both.
In
okay.
and out.
Okay. Okay. So do you believe that it's impossible to be monogamous?
I believe it's boring.
Okay.
I don't believe it's impossible, because anything is possible in the world. I believe it's very boring, and I believe people become miserable and unhappy with the extent of time that they only have to talk to that one person.
Okay.
Now, do I think people are supposed to be nasty and sloppy? Absolutely not. Because I am going to hurt you if you bring me something.
That's right.
But do I feel like if I'm going to be married to you for 30 years that you can never do anything? There's no other pretty girl. You ain't seen nobody walk down the street that's amazing.
You just want it so that you don't know. You just don't want to find out.
I prefer to know.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
So you prefer to know that he's cheating. You want him to come home and say,
I want it to be a conversation, because it can't be nasty. So I get divorces because men get nasty.
okay, so you will be okay for him to come home and say, hey, I met this chick. She was and I'm thinking about taking her out, you don't feel any level of jealousy or nothing. So you just okay.
Because guess what? I seen a man and I want him to take me out.
Okay.
So I'm just an honest woman, right? I have had some great, amazing husbands. You hear me? Even though we have shortcomings, the majority of them is great people, right? And they have so many great things about them. And me too, but I have shortcomings as well. The world puts you in a box and says that this is what life is supposed to be. Once you're with this one man and this woman, they're supposed to get together and they're supposed to never like anybody else. They're supposed to never talk to anybody else. And if they do, the world is ending.
That's right.
If they do, everything is over. I think that's foolishness. Because this is a great man and a great woman. They're just not perfect people. Now, should he go bring babies in here? You can't do that. Should you come bring diseases in here? You can't do that. Can my vagina start hurting because you went and did something crazy? We can't do that. There are levels to things that we are able to do. So when it becomes disrespectful and when the cheating gets loud and when it gets nasty is where I have to exit stage.
Is the loud when the friends are talking, when other people are talking? What's loud?
Everybody ain't supposed to know if you went and got your dick sucked.
Okay. So that should...
This is a one-off. This
Right.
is not build a relationship. This is every 2 to 3 months. If you seen somebody you thought was cute, you took them to dinner and you took them to dinner twice and you got your dick sucked, then come home so we can watch TV.
Right.
Don't go lay up there, balls still out, needing a washcloth and all that. We have washcloths at home.
Okay.
Use the ones that I bought.
Okay. Okay.
And use a condom. You got some in your glove compartment, just in case.
Okay.
So, am I leaving my man? Because men are hunters, right? Men are taught to hunt. They are not taught to sit in no corner. Oh, she fine, but let me not look. Oh, no, my wife. That's a boring ass man. And I'm not saying, so I know a lot of married people, right? And so married people get so offended when they talk to me about relationships because married people feel like they're the best. Their vagina is the best. They're the prettiest thing and the girl in the world. Sorry to tell you, you nigga done cheated.
Okay, so let's go back to marriage.
You might not know about it, but he did.
Let's go back to marriage 2. Okay, so you said he did cheat. You found that out, and that was one of the reasons why you were about to break up.
Well, that was one of the reasons that I decided to take a few extra numbers than I would typically take.
Okay, all right.
Because it was about who he cheated with.
Okay, so it's also, so if you cheat, you need to cheat up?
You just can't cheat with the bottom of the barrel. It's like, where's your standards at?
Right, because it makes you feel away.
It makes me look away.
Right.
And I have to still look
up the part.
Yes.
Okay.
We still have to have this. The imagery is still needed.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
But you can't go cheat with the person that get a vagina to everybody.
Okay.
That's a nasty cheat.
But most of these guys out here, they just going wherever.
But that's the problem. You have to have class in your cheating. You have to have tact in your cheating. And a man has to have respect for his own body. So if I'm going to be married to you, my biggest goal and my biggest requirement is for the man to respect his own body. Because what women don't understand is when you get married, a lot of times you're not using a condom. A lot of times, so you are putting your life in the hands of this human.
So would you ask your husband to wear a condom?
I did.
You did?
My last husband had to wear a condom.
Okay, we're going to get to that in a minute. So, marriage number 2. He proposed to you over the phone because he thought you were going to go away. You ended up saying yes.
Yeah.
Why did you say yes if you were surrounded by all these, dope boys?
Because you can't be in love with the street boy. You know better than that. You know where they headed. This man have a good job. He got good insurance. He's so fine and so cute. He's 6'4", dick hangs down to his ankles. You hear me? He got his stuff together. You cannot trade him out for the street boy that might get shot next week.
Okay.
That's not a smart decision. Do you take the Shaunell bag from the street guy? Absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't turn any down.
So you still kept your dudes in the street while you were engaged to husband number 2? Okay.
I needed my gifts.
So, okay. So he kept the gifts. They kept the gifts coming.
Coming.
And did he know that the gifts were coming from the guys in the street?
Nope. No, you know.
I know.
No, you know.
Okay.
He did not know.
All right.
But I was making so much money, so he just thought I was buying it. So I've always been into like stuff. Like my whole life. I acquire stuff. I collect just stuff. Right? I've always been into like jewelry and bags and stuff. So like all my jewelry I have on is like SK besides this, Van Cleef thing or whatever. But I made all of this stuff that I have.
I see him on it.
It's real diamonds in my watch.
Your watch is...
It's SK and it's real diamonds.
That's
like
pretty.
I am into like I'm just into stuff. So I created. I make a lot of different things. This purse is SK. Like it's
and for the record, SK is your own personal brand.
Yeah, yeah. And so like I've just always collected things. They got more expensive the more money I made. Right. I used to wear Coach and all that stuff, and then as you evolve, you get Chanel and Louis and Gucci and different stuff. But the men in a strip club, they don't have respect for money. So they just give it. They make it so fast that they actually have a disrespect for it, which is actually a benefit to women because then women are able to get money out of street guys way faster than it is for a corporate guy or a guy with a real job because the street guys disrespect the money anyway. They come and throwing it in a strip club. So why would you not give me $5,000 and you throwing it up in a strip club in 5 minutes so that your ego is boosted so that everybody can see you got some money, but what it shows is that you just spent your money in 5 minutes.
So then you got married.
We got married in Hawaii.
And how long was it a honeymoon? How long was everything working great?
Everything was cool until maybe like a year. I think it maybe took a year so let me tell you how slick he was, honey, because this one is slick. I got to reposition for that. So he knew I was into a lot of stuff, right? And so what he would do is he would buy me things and he put it in the trunk. So we was kind of beefing. I can't remember what the beef was about. And so he had bought me a whole bunch of stuff from like Neiman's and stuff. And he was like, oh, go get my bag. He told me to go get his gym bag or something from out the trunk. Something like that he said. And so I get to the trunk and there's all these gifts. So I'm like, oh, turn up. I got me some gifts. That. And then I hear, as I'm collecting the gifts and stuff, I hear something buzzing.
Okay.
And I'm like, what's that? Because this is a man that we playing video games on his phone. He don't got no password on his phone. If the phone ring, he like, answer it, see who it is. He ain't hiding his cell phone. It ain't locked. It ain't turned over on the side. None of those things. Right? And so this was a man that in your soul you felt like you could trust because he at home every night. Phone ain't ringing. He ain't looking at it to the side. Ringing ain't on silent. None of that. Like, oh, babe, you want to play the game? Oh, your game on my phone. Let's just use my phone. I got charged. That type of thing. That creates security in women. That is like, nobody must not be calling because this man don't care that I got the password. He don't care. He tell me go get the phone, whatever. So, long story short, he had another phone that was buzzing in the car. That was the number that all the women got.
Okay. But is that a problem?
Well, it is because it was a secret.
Oh, so had he said, I had a phone where I'm letting the other women call.
It can't be a bunch of women. This is some one-off
cheating
stuff that you got to do with
one-off. So let me ask you this. Are you giving these men these parameters up front? Do they know?
So I didn't accept this reality to probably my third husband. My second husband, it was supposed to be me and you. We go together. You were living
under the traditional terms at this point, where you thought that you said I'm giving up the street guys. You left your Chanel bags alone.
No.
So you still had your bags coming.
Yeah.
But he was supposed to be at home baking cookies.
I didn't say that, right? Okay. But you're not supposed to have an extra cell phone of women.
Okay.
Like one-offs. One-offs is every 3-4 months you're out. Keep in mind, he was going to work 40 days and come back 2 weeks. Going to work another 30 days, come back 2 weeks. You ain't got that much time for women.
What I hear too, anyway, longshoreman, right?
Huh?
He was a longshoreman.
Uh-huh.
I heard so the word on the block is if you dating a longshoreman, you already know he has about 3 families.
No, he didn't have 3 families. He didn't.
But it's always kind of known that longshoremen typically have multiple things going on.
Well, I didn't get that memo.
Okay, because if they go...
I didn't get that memo.
Okay.
And guess what? If he was over there, like they would go out, they would be over there so long. So I knew you didn't slept with somebody. Right. You in Brazil, all them women pretty. You get what I'm saying? Like the Botox is up to date. But I never asked about that because that wasn't my business, in my opinion. Okay. So you don't go searching for stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's a big mistake too. Women go looking for something, and then when they find it, they lose their mind.
Right.
And but then don't go nowhere.
You sought it out.
Right.
I'm not going to look for something that's going to cause me to have a bad day.
Right. So every time you found something,
it landed. It found me. And I'd be like, what up? If I find out, you want me to know. Okay. Because I'm not looking for it.
You found the phone.
I found the phone. That thing was buzzing.
Did you answer it?
Of course I did. No, you know.
So what happened? What happened when you answered that phone?
She was pregnant. She had already got an abortion. She didn't want to get another abortion. He was telling her, you need to get an abortion. I'm married, So this is where my problem came in at. Nobody should be pregnant. Nobody should be on their second abortion attempt. None of those things. That means you are skeeting up in that thing. That's a problem for me. That's where my problem come in with men. You put my life in jeopardy behind somebody that sleeps with multiple people that I know sleeps with multiple people because they work at the strip club.
Shaunell, if they sleeping with somebody, they are probably skeeting in somebody.
That's why it's supposed to be one-offs. You're not supposed to go have a relationship.
Okay.
When you didn't slept with somebody once or twice, you nasty if you done took your condom off already.
Okay.
That's why it can't be a relationship.
But you thinking these guys are even going into this with condoms all the time? It's women that's having to force men to wear condoms. I don't know that men are running around tomorrow. You got a condom in the car?
I supply them in their cars though.
Right, but it requires a woman to say go and put it on. I don't think that the man is saying.
But guess what? Women should, because this man is going inside of your body.
Right.
And if you do not make him put that condom on, he gonna leave you with something that you can't get rid of.
I agree, but I'm just saying, if we were expecting him to be responsible, I just haven't met men that were that responsible to say, let me go and do the right thing.
That's why I'm on my 5th husband.
Okay. All right. So
that's why. What you just said is why we got this book. The 5th time is a charm.
Because you know. Yeah. Okay. So number 2, you find out she's pregnant.
And then so he said the phone was for somebody else. His friend who was married. Okay. So I called the friend. I called his wife. Ooh. I called everybody.
Okay. So you raised hell. You said if I'm going
to you play in my face, you hear me? Or you think you're going to play a game with me? I'm going to show you that I'm the gold medalist at the Olympics.
Okay. All right.
I'm the best at it.
All right.
So we are going to get to the bottom of it. Because you don't have to lie to me. So if I feel like you lied to me. Now, he could have always come before this happened and said, I ended up sleeping with such and such, and this is what happened. And we could have talked through that.
So had he told you the truth, you would have worked it out with your husband.
I would have figured it out.
You would have been a stand by my man type guy.
I would have figured it out.
Okay.
I would have figured it out.
All right.
Because you're putting it in front of me. So we can decide.
It shows respect.
It does. And it shows that, you know what? I don't want her to be blindsided. And I don't like to be blindsided. Don't surprise me with no bullshit. Like, nuh-uh. So it shows that you care about my feelings. You're not just trying to hide something. So again,
well, maybe it doesn't necessarily say that he doesn't care about your feelings. He could not want to hurt you. Sometimes people lie because they don't want you to be hurt.
Yeah, but guess what? You know how hurt you are when you flip your phone up and your husband got somebody pregnant? You know what kind of hurt that is? So hurt me on the front end, not on the back end.
On the back end.
So it all hurts, right? But the hurt is different. And some you can process and some hurt you cannot process. And so for me, I want the hurt on the front end, because then we're going to talk about what happened. Why did you not use a condom? My biggest questions would have been, why did you feel like you were safe over there?
But see, I don't even know. You know, when people start asking some of those questions and the deed has been done, I don't even know why we asking the question.
I just want to know. Because in my brain, right, I'm cheating too. So I can't make a big fuss. Mm-hmm. So for me, most women are not cheating on their man.
You believe that?
Well, not in the beginning.
Up. So okay, but so let's back up. Now, you believe that?
99% of the people I know, they all cheat. The man and the woman.
Okay,
right. But most times in the beginning of a marriage, right, a lot of times the woman is not the one that's cheating. In the beginning.
So you think women start cheating because they just get fed up with what's going on with their man, or you just think after a while? What do you think draws women to cheat?
It gets old. Mm-hmm. Like the relationship gets old. The spark isn't there anymore. And you just get, my opinion, you get tired of sleeping with the same person every day. It's only so many positions you can do. It's only so many hotels you can get. Mm-hmm. It's only so many airport family bathrooms you can sleep in. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I have did it all. And I still, at every airport I go in, I'm having sex in it. Everyone.
Every single one.
Everyone. If I'm with a man,
okay,
we are finding a family restroom. I am one of the most spontaneous people you gonna meet.
Okay.
And I still get tired of it being the same person. Mm-hmm. So again, it may be something internally that's going on with me. Maybe. Mm-hmm. But every woman I talk to, and when they hear my perspective, you know what they say? I felt the same way. I just be faking it now. Like they're miserable. Mm-hmm. They may not have cheated, or they may not have did some of the things that I've did, right? But I cheat with respect. Like the last person that I messed with, I talked to him for 9 years. My side man was a 9-year stretch. Mm-hmm. So I'm not just going just because I have respect for my body.
Right.
So I need a man that also has respect for his body. So we gonna do this thing with class.
Now, would you choose to make your side dude somebody that you really feeling, but he don't have the money though? So you're not gonna marry the guy that don't have the money. Would you make?
I can't sleep with you either.
So you wouldn't. So you gotta have a coin even to be the side dude.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because where you taking me?
Yeah. What y'all gonna do?
What we doing?
Okay.
What hotel room we sleeping in? Because all these are your expenses.
Okay.
The hotel room. We going out of town, because I go out of town with the last guy I was messing with. Mm-hmm. Like, I need a good birthday gift around here. Like, I mean, what's going on? Like. Where are we having sex at? Mm-hmm. We can't go to my house. Mm-hmm. And hopefully you tied up and we can't go to your house. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to be single, because then you're going to want to be with me.
So if you a side dude, you need to be in the same situation.
You have to have a situation.
Right, because otherwise.
Girlfriend, baby mama, living. Mm-hmm. They have to live with you.
Okay.
Not you show up to their house. Mm-hmm. I need you to live with that human.
Because they have something to lose.
You got something to lose. Mm-hmm. So you got something to lose, and I have something to lose.
So everybody moving cautiously at that
everybody. Mm-hmm. And I know where your penis been, and you know where my vagina been.
Well, hold on. You know where his penis has been with her, but 9 times out of 10, you ain't the only one. And oh, by the way, wifey probably feeling the same way you feel. She probably got her a couple of dudes.
No,
it's all a whole lot of dipping and dabbing.
That wife don't cheat.
Oh,
let me tell you something.
That wife is 99% of the women you just mentioned before.
That thing.
Listen, let me tell you, Shaunell, I'm telling you.
I think she the only one that ain't cheating, though.
People are not sitting around crying the blues anymore.
No, they not. But he is such a great husband. You hear me? This is the husband of all husbands I was cheating with.
Okay.
He is the husband of all husbands.
But was cheating.
With me.
Okay. And so you think...
And we had our time.
You think you were the only one and the first one?
I probably have not been the first one, but at the time that...
Come on, girl. I know you don't believe that you was the only one.
Let me tell you what, because his family life is so structured, we had to be on a schedule. Now, this is the husband of all husbands, so 18 hours of his day is committed to them kids, that wife. He only has a break in time from time to time. Mm-hmm. So we couldn't go out all the time. He would figure out how to take me to lunch. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Once a week. Mm-hmm. We'll figure out how to maybe catch a movie every other week or something like that. But from time, he is at the house. Now, I may be on FaceTime with him while he at that house, but that wife is in that house with them kids, and he may be in another part of his house on FaceTime with me. I'm not going to tell you that it was right. And I'm not going to tell you that things that happened to, because I always tell people this. I tell the story so that people can use my story as a weapon on me.
That's right.
Right? You cannot weaponize me with what I did because I'm vocal about it. Do I applaud it? No. Do I say that it's right? No, but it worked for me. Right? And I always tell people some of the harvest that I have received is from seeds that I've sown. So I knew better than to talk to that lady husband, but it was convenient for me. It felt good to me, and it worked for me. So that is a seed that I planted for such a long time. So when things happen in my relationship and stuff happen, it is harvest from a seed that I have sown.
You kind of felt like I called this to happen.
Well, I mean, I'm not innocent in it. I'm not a victim.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Even though my husbands didn't know what was going on, I am not going to sit here and try to make one person out to be the villain.
You know what you said, we haven't even gotten to husband 3 or 4, but it sounds like you got away all 4 times cheating and never getting caught.
Yeah.
Whereas men get caught every time.
That
says a lot about things. Okay, so let's go back to the second. So you guys decide to divorce.
So then we get a divorce.
Okay. Was it an easy
divorce? I
divorce?
started cheating with my third husband, and then we got a divorce. So I met my third husband at the strip club.
Okay.
Because that's where I was working at. I met him, started talking to him, and I started dating him. And then he started giving me money and all kind of stuff. So my husband actually called. My second husband called my third husband, like, you sleeping with my wife. And he said, well, this my girl now, so I don't know what you're going to do. But I didn't did too much for her at this point. So we together.
Okay, so you had to make the decision at that point. So at that point, you were, quote unquote, working it out with your husband.
I was in limbo.
You were in limbo. So the woman decided to have the baby or not?
No, she didn't.
She didn't have the baby. You were in limbo. You met husband number 3. There wasn't husband number 3 yet. He was just your dude. My boyfriend. He was your boyfriend. And he made your husband 2 called him. Then you had to make the decision.
Then I was caught.
Okay, so.
I was like, dang. But husband 2 had already moved out from the house. So he wasn't no longer living in the house. So my second husband went in my email and saw a video that I had emailed to my third husband. Because I was in China. And so I'd be making all kind of little videos, girl, all kind of little stuff. So he saw that I emailed this video dancing naked to the guy because he was looking at my emails from the computer at my house. He went to go pick my son up. He didn't even live at the house, but I had him helping me with my son while I was gone. And he got into my emails and started reading all my emails.
Oh, Lord. So then you made the decision to go with husband number 3. Was it because the bag was bigger with him?
Way bigger.
Way bigger. So your decision again.
But it wasn't that. So I don't want it to be as if I only went with him because he had more money. Right? He was really smart. And he was smart in business. And so at that point, we hadn't talked about so much. We hadn't, like, our conversations was just on a different level. And he was intriguing. So I was like, I have to figure out where this goes. So yes, he had more money. Yes, but that wasn't the reason I left husband number 2. He was already moved out. So we was already where we were. You get what I'm saying? Like, but my third husband, he was just so smart to me. And I was just like, I got to be able to talk to this man.
Let me ask you this. Out of these 3 so far, were you in love with any of them?
The last one for sure.
The last one, but that's number 4.
Well, 3 and 4 is the same man.
Oh, so you married, so 3 and 4, so you were married 4 times, but to 3 men.
To 3 men.
Okay. Because I know number 4, which is number 3, you were madly in love with, because I saw that online.
I love him so much. I still love him.
You still carry his name.
I love him to death. You hear me? When I tell you I love that man, we just can't be together.
And you, when I say you love him to death, when the other women would come out online and say things, you could see the pain.
I used to cuss. At first, I used to try to cuss everybody out. But even when they would call me, it got so bad with my third and fourth husband, I would be like, I don't care what he did with you. Get off my phone. I'm not leaving them. I'm not leaving them. He had woman after woman. It was like a whirlwind of. But financially, he was in such a tax bracket that he literally does. And still to this day, I talked to him this morning. We was on the phone talking about something. And he literally does whatever he wants with his life every day. You get what I'm saying? He works, but women are impressed with his capabilities of being able to provide. And he's a great human, you know, like he's just a terrible husband. So I can separate the two with him now because he did so many things for me that it's forever gonna be great for my life, right?
Right.
But he just wasn't a good husband.
So let's go back to that. So number 3, you decide to go with him. At that point, you didn't know he was going to be the love of your life. But you knew that financially he had that shine.
I think God gave me him to show me that's not what I really want in life.
I remember you say not what you really want. Now, I remember you used to always say online, too, that a lot of your business sense, a lot of the things that you learned, he taught you.
He taught me.
And so a lot of times I think people need to look at relationships differently and not just think about sexual things or what they can get. But is this person feeding your mind? Are you growing? Are you learning? You said that he taught you how to be this boss.
He took the dog and brought it out of me. He lit the fire. Like, I always was a hustler. But I was a hustler on the I can take care of myself in this kind of way. The first time that I ever met him, he said, I'm going to teach you how to never need anybody. I'm going to teach you how not to need a man to do nothing for you. Because he was like, what stuff do you like? He was like, I see you, because I had a Shaunell bag, shoes, watch. I'm going to have a Shaunell watch at that time. And this is just the designer stuff at that time before I even did my own stuff. He was like, I see, I can add it up. You got on $30,000, $40,000 worth of stuff. Like, he was like, so this is what you like? I'm like, yeah. He was like, do you buy it? I was like, no, my boyfriends or my man or whoever, buy it. He said, when I'm in your life, I'm going to teach you how to not need nobody to do these things for you. You're going to be able to do them for yourself.
So if we remove everything else, the cheating, the betrayal, the hurt, the so forth, one of the things that women need to make sure that when they're choosing someone, that they're learning something from them.
He has to be a good leader and teacher. Like, because the man is supposed to lead the house, right? So where are you leading me if you don't know nothing?
So you married him. This is number 3. This is before we get to number 4. And how long did marriage number 3 last?
So from 2014 to 2019.
Okay. 2014 to 2019. And why did you divorce him the first time?
So the first time I did it on New Year's Day. I was just done. I was just like, I'm not going into another year being his wife. I wanted to be his best friend. So I would always ask him before we got a divorce, each time, like, can we just be best friends? He was a hell of a friend. He's a hell of a human. He's just a bad husband. But he had no desire to really be a husband.
You feel like you made him be a husband?
Well, I think he didn't want to lose me, and he knew. So, like, when I met him, he was married. I didn't even know he was married. Okay. Never had seen the lady. But the first time we sat down, he was like, well, what kind of men you date? I said, one of my things is I don't date married men. Because this was before I even met the guy that I was talking to who was married, right? And so he never told me he was married because when we sat down, I told him that out of my mouth.
So how long into the relationship did you find out he was married?
Probably like 2 years.
So 2 years. So we
was living together.
Okay, y'all. So he must have been married but separated.
Well, no, he was married to somebody in Las Vegas. I lived in Atlanta. He never lived in Atlanta till we got together. So he was always going to Vegas. He used to tell me that was his baby mama because they had a kid together.
Okay.
So his son shot himself with my gun in the finger and in the leg, but I wasn't at the house. So long story short, I had to take a charge that I wasn't even around for, but I was like, okay, whatever. The lady saw the article or something like that online. Fiance, kid's dad, fiance gun was used, whatever the headline said. And she called me and said I was messing with her husband. She called me on my work phone. And I said, girl, I got my own man. I am not messing with your husband. I don't mess with people's husband. And that lady sent me pictures of them cutting their cake, wedding dress, suit. And so we called him on 3-way. And he was like, Man, I'm so happy you found out because I didn't know how to tell you. Is what he said. Mm-hmm. And he told her, you know we ain't together. We together, but you know, like, stop playing. You get what I'm saying? He was like, look, I'm working. I'm busy right now. Y'all two gonna have to figure this out. Ooh. Shaunell, I'm gonna see you later.
And so what did that mean to you at that point? Bye to her?
Bye. Lady, I don't know what you want, because at this point, my life is spectacular. You hear me? I'm not gonna fake the funk with you.
Right.
I wasn't getting rid of that man. If you knocked me across my head, I was gonna get better and still go back and be with that man.
So you told her bye.
I told her, okay, y'all won't be married too much longer. And I did all his divorce stuff. I took all his divorce classes and stuff because they let you take it online. I took all his parenting, whatever was able to be done online, I took it.
In your mind, though, you never thought that one day you would be sitting in her seat.
I wasn't getting rid of that man.
But you never thought.
I never thought. But I was not. I didn't care who had came at that point. I was not getting rid of that man.
But you know, Shaunell, a lot of women tend to think, especially in their younger years, that they're going to be different. He's not going to do me the way he did her. I'm different.
I don't think I ever thought that, because we never had a time in our relationship where I ever thought he was faithful.
So you always knew that he was?
Always.
Okay.
I never thought he was ever faithful. I mean, he says he was one year. We talked about it one day. He's like, I wasn't cheating on you between 06 and 07. I mean, those wasn't the years, right? Mm-hmm. But I said, oh, really? But I never thought he was faithful.
When did he start getting sloppy?
When people started to call and say they was pregnant, and this was probably like in 2016 or 17. And then I'm like, okay. Then somebody else called, and then it was like, you really can't use a condom?
And in the same time, you were experiencing miscarriages.
Over and over.
And over and over again.
Over and over.
And so I know that had to do something to you internally.
Well, so maybe in 2017 or 18, I can't remember the year, I found out exactly what I needed. And this is going to sound bad, what I'm about to say, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm just going to put a disclaimer in front of it. You should probably put a disclaimer in front of it and say if anybody has ever had a miscarriage, they should probably stop listening right now.
Okay.
Right? And it is because, I have to be honest, so that's why I say that. Mm-hmm. I probably found out in 17 or 18 what it would take for me to not have a miscarriage. And I never did it, and I never told him what it would take. So every time I would get pregnant, I knew I wasn't going to have the baby because I never wanted a baby with him.
Wow. So why would you continue to get pregnant by him?
Because, he wanted to try to have a baby.
But you really did not want a baby. So did any of these other babies materialize with these other women? Did any of them go through with it?
Mm-mm. He had 2 more kids now that we ain't together. He didn't start a baby. That thing be platinum, babies. You hear me? But and
how does that make you feel?
But not even to laugh at it, because he's a great father. He is probably one of the best fathers I have ever seen in my existence. Him and his children, that is his number one priority in the world. Like A1 dad. But I never liked how he treated his baby mamas. Like, if they needed something, he ain't doing it. Like, he gave them such a hard time. And I was always like, I never want to be that. And I knew me and him wasn't forever.
So I didn't
know how long we were going to be, but I knew that wasn't where I was going to be forever. Because
but I remember you being online, Shaunell. You used to say, I don't care what y'all got to say, what y'all got to do.
Yeah. I'm not leaving this man.
I'm not leaving this man.
I don't care what you gotta say. I'm not leaving this man. But then at that point, I wasn't.
So what turned the trick? Because you were 10 toes down on that. When did you decide this is enough?
In my soul, it wasn't right no more. In my soul, it was no longer okay to be somewhere because it financially serves you and it feeds no other parts of you. And so I grew up with morals. I grew up with character. I grew up with all these things. So that started to kick in. So it was no longer enough for him to be providing this lifestyle. It was no longer, now I need more than this. And again, he taught me so much about business, so I thought I owed him.
Was it a call? Did somebody, what was that
It
moment?
was not a call.
It was not.
It was internally. I just started to be different, and I wasn't happy. So to be honest with you, I have all this stuff. People are looking at me. I have all the cars. I got all the jewelry. I got $1 million worth of jewelry. I have everything. You hear me? Every bag they got, every shoe they created, every diamond they got, I have it. But I didn't have nothing internally. I was miserable. And I don't sit well in misery. I don't sit, because then it starts to show on me.
How long did you know that this is it before you said to him, this is it?
It probably was 2019, I was pregnant. And he bought this dog. And I hate dogs. Not hate dogs, but I don't like them at my house. Right? I don't like animals. I don't like any animal that smells or anything, because I like the house to smell good. So I'm not a pet friendly human, right? So he still bought this dog. He's like, this my house, I'm buying a dog. So he bought that damn dog. So then I had to start doing stuff for the dog. And so one day the dog was screaming at the bottom of the steps. And it was like 2 a.m. He wasn't home. He was somewhere. Who knows where he was at. And I was pregnant. And I'm rushing because I'm thinking somebody breaking into the house or something, because this dog is going crazy. I'm rushing down the steps, and I skip a step and I fall. We have these long steps in our house. So I tumble down 1,000 steps and land on the landing and ended up in the hospital. Lost the baby from the trauma of the impact. And then I stopped breathing. So I was in ICU. I had lost so much blood, like it was really bad. And when I was in ICU, I only stopped breathing because nobody was at the hospital with me. If my husband would have been at the hospital with me, I was struggling before then, but I couldn't, my little thing for the bed had fell on the ground, so I couldn't get it. So I couldn't get anybody to come help me, but for a while, for probably like 15, 20 minutes, I don't know exactly, but I was struggling or whatever. And so long story short, like, I'm literally sitting here talking to you today because a nurse came in who wasn't even my nurse, but I had been so nice to her. I had been telling her so many jokes. She just came in to say hey and to tell me that she wasn't my nurse, and she was so mad. And she seen me
struggling.
Like I was falling on the floor when she was coming in, and she pressed the button. So I would have been dead if I wouldn't have been. Because I have a funny kind of personality. So I would, even in ICU, she would be like, girl, you is in ICU. How is you making me feel better? I'm like, girl, because God, I'm still here. So we're going to tell a joke. We're going to just have a good time. So literally, if I would have been mean to her or nasty to her or just had a different personality, she wouldn't have came in there at that time to check on me. But so that is what kind of turned me a little bit. And then when I was in the hospital, he said he was going to go take a shower and he was coming right back. But he had ended up on an airplane going out of town to go cheat with this girl, this ugly fat girl too. So that was the day that enough was enough. Because then my life was on the line. And if you would have really went to take a shower and come back, I wouldn't have stopped breathing.
So how do you consider him still a best friend?
I still don't think he's just a bad husband. I take away the two people. Like, I separate them. He taught me a lot. I'm forever going to be great because of some of the lessons, for some of the things he taught me, but he just was not a good husband. It ain't that he didn't love me either. In his form of loving me was making sure I had a house, making sure I had a car, making sure, you get what I'm saying, I have this jewelry, whatever it was, whatever business idea I came up with, that man gave me some money for it.
So Shaunell at 40, talking to Shaunell at 18, what advice would you give her today about the decisions that she made when selecting the men in her life?
Form your own opinion and stop looking at what other people say or think as your opinion of what you should do with a man. So when I was 18, I was dating this guy. My grandma, the guy gave me 50% of my rent. I ran. I told my mom, oh, he gave me half on my rent. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I think I was 17. My grandma said, are you giving him half of your vagina? I said, no. Well, he shouldn't be giving you half of your rent. So tell him if he don't have all the rent money, then he gonna have to start getting half of your vagina and somebody else gonna have to give you the rest. I went to him and told him that, and he gave me the rest of the money. She said, do not let no man come into your life and split no bills with you. That is what I remember. And for my whole life, I did that. You have to have more than that, though. So when I used to pray for a man or pray for a husband, I always prayed that he financially was able to do what I needed him to do. And I think that's why God gave me my third husband, to show me that you need more than that. So the prayer is different. I want a leader. I want a provider. I want somebody that's caring. We're gonna have money because God ain't sending nothing broke my way. And he just ain't gonna play with me like that. And that's how I feel, right? But you have to want more. And I think God made me fall in love with him because he gave me exactly what I asked him for. Provider, financially, spot on. So the prayer I prayed, I got exactly what I prayed for.
So do you feel like you were living through the walls or the life of grandma and mom? What worked for them?
I just remember what my grandma said.
Because think about how many young girls, if you don't have this, if you can't show me that, and then there's the guy over here that may work a 9-to-5 corporate job, respectable job, but just not balling out of control, but loves the ground that you walk on, you're not going to give him that opportunity.
And today in 2024, it's sad because all people do is look at people for money. So when I look at it, I'm like, oh, I wish I could talk to them. Oh, I wish I could. Oh, and that's why I now talk about it. And that's why I'm about to do my own podcast, because I was hurt. I was hurt. If you don't got no money, don't come around here. Now you still can't come around me broke because I'm not broke. But at the time that I was saying, the time I was saying that, I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So you were expecting something from a man that you didn't even have yourself.
I didn't even have myself, which was foolishness. Right. But my dad would say to me, get you a man so you can be taken care of. My dad told me that when I was 5-6 years old. Make sure you keep yourself up. Make sure you look good. Make sure, because you need to get a man to take care of you. When my mom and my dad was together, our house looked a certain way. When my mom was single, we lived a certain way. When my mom got a boyfriend or something, it was a certain way. Everything I saw was, if you got a man, your life is easier and better. So just from my surroundings, I was exposed to, when a man is in your life is easier. And so that's what I went with.
Well, do you believe that today?
To a certain extent, I do. If the right man is in your life is easier.
It's easier. So 5 times the charm. So you want to be married again.
Absolutely.
And this time, what do you think will be different?
Just the approach. And then God has to be a part of it. See, in none of my other relationships did I check with God. This time, I'm checking with him before you can even be my boyfriend. And when I tell you, he has been slapping me with his good sandal every time I start talking to him. God, you see what's going on here. Give me something. Literally, if I start liking somebody, I start praying about that person. And stuff just start getting exposed and exposed and exposed.
So exposed like what? Another woman?
Well, other women, or just their leadership skills. You get what I'm saying? A lot of men don't have leadership skills, and which is unfortunate. I cannot be with anybody. I have my stuff together.
So tell me an example of poor leadership for you. What is it that a man can exhibit that will say he has poor leadership skills?
If at 40, so I'm only dating 45 to 50 something, right?
Okay.
None of the men are younger than that.
Okay.
In this last 2-3 year time frame. I have somebody that's 50 something years old, and you still trying to figure your life out. What do you mean? You ain't tried nothing and it didn't work? Like, you look nice. You have everything that's on the Louis Vuitton mannequin you have. But where's your business sense? Like, where's your mindset? Like, are we going to church? Like, this guy I just stopped talking to, I was like, come on, let's go to church. He was like, oh, I don't do church. I got to go. I got to get out of here. What you mean you don't do church? You go to the club, you go bowling, you go eat, you don't do church. Well, let's watch it. You don't got to want to go in. I put it on the computer. He walked around the whole house and never sat at the computer, I can't talk to you.
So that was it.
That was it. Because who you praying to? Where are you taking me? Some, you got to believe in some. If it's Muslim, if it's Ifa, if it's Jesus, you have to believe in something. You cannot think you was here and it's all on you. Who do you talk to when times are hard? Who do you get your guidance from? Who are you listening to? Can't be these little homeboys that you got, because these ain't going to work.
And at 50-something years old.
And at 50-something, you don't want to talk to God. You don't want to, and everybody doesn't have to believe in God, but I believe my next husband does.
Okay. What else are you looking for in the next husband? You
have to know how to communicate. Men have piss poor communication skills. They do not want to talk about it. They do not want to open up. And in order for you to have decades with a person, you have to get to know that person. I need to know what hurts you. I need to know what triggers you. I need to know what you aspire to be. A lot of men don't even have aspirations.
So would you give him a pass? You know what a pass is, right? That pass is every month or every 3 months they can kind of go off and do what they want to do.
Maybe like every 3-4 months. Let's take it with the quarters.
Okay, so you
4 quarters. Let's go with that.
So every quarter you would let him go ahead and do what he has to do.
Just go do what you got to do.
And yourself, you will say, and let me go and do.
So in my next relationship, I don't want to cheat.
Okay, but you'll be okay with him cheating.
Well, within the quarter,
reason.
Within your quarter.
So why have you changed your mind? Why do you no longer want to cheat?
It's a discipline thing that I'm trying to figure out if I can do or not. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull that off, but I aspire to pull that off, right? I want to find that one human that I feel like I'm okay with what you offering, and I'm going to be okay with this. I don't know if that's reality. I don't know if that's even going to be a thing.
Have you ever seen a relationship in your life from being a child to today where there was just true, unabashed love? Like, have you ever seen your mom just be head over heels in love with her man, grandmother? So you've never, ever seen that before.
I was head over heels for my husband. I've seen it with my own life. I've never seen it like in person, like with nobody, not with a friend, not with a cousin, a family member, not with an extended family member. I see it on the internet, these old people talking. And I have a couple that I used to do her lashes when I was doing lashes, and her husband are so amazing together. She's older. She's like 50-something. He's like 50-something. She was coming to me probably when she was like late 40s. And they were like magic together. And I'm just like, I used to ask her about my husband. He was cheating. She was like, just pray for him. Just pray for him. And I did that for a long time. And I came back and told her, this ain't working for me. But she was like, my husband used to do this. I just prayed for him and then he got better. I don't want you to get better at 50 because now you got to get better.
You got to get better because you need somebody to take care of you.
And when I tell you her husband is a husband to her, but when they tell me what they've been through and for how long they went through it, I don't want to sign up for that.
Well, so marriage, Shaunell, is not going to be an easy path. And I'm not saying necessarily cheating or whatever, but whatever that's worth having, you got to work at it.
I agree.
Right.
I definitely agree. But it is not going to be to the point where I'm heartbroken year after year after year. And then when you get old, you just start doing right because I'm the last thing standing.
Or humiliated.
Right.
I feel like there needs to be a point where you love me enough that you won't humiliate me.
That part.
Right?
That part.
So the fifth time is the charm, right? And you still...
My book.
Let's see it.
My book.
Yep, fifth time. That's a beautiful cover.
Thank you.
Beautiful cover. And so you still believe in love.
Absolutely. Because when
does love matter?
Love definitely matters. Love matters in the hard times when a man may not have no money. Because there was a time when my husband finances got a little tricky for him, and I had to step up, and I'm gonna step up. You hear me? We are not gonna lose a thing, because I've been able to save all of my money for so long. So if you need me for 6 months, 7 months, or whatever the case is, I got it. And if you don't give it back, I'm cool with that too. So I am a teammate. I just don't believe in splitting the bills, the mortgage with a man.
Okay.
Right. But I am a team player. This your business, we need to run it. If this, we need to do it. You get what I'm things like that. But at the end of the day, I love. And when I was in love, it was amazing and it felt good. Because it ain't like I busted him every month. You get what I'm saying? It was spurts and periods where I didn't see nothing. I didn't hear anything. I may not have thought he was faithful, but the girl just didn't bother me. They didn't all bother me. You get what I'm saying? The ones bothered me who was mad.
They probably started calling whenever you posted something online.
Yeah, and they get real mad if I get a new watch or get a new necklace. And then it puts them in a ruffle.
Right. So at that point, I'm sure you didn't even want to go into that DM at that point.
Yeah, so, but love is an amazing thing. And so I'm never going to be against it. I do think love has limits. And people say you have to love unconditionally. But I don't think that's a thing that's possible.
What's the breaking point for you, though, in a relationship? If cheating is not a breaking point for you, what is?
I don't want to be humiliated. I don't want you to be nasty. Me and my last husband, I knew we weren't going to be together when I had bought him a Bentley. It was off the showroom floor for his birthday in 2021. He had always bought my husband shows out. Ex-husband shows out for my birthday, right? But he always wanted this drop-top Bentley, white on the outside, red in the inside, custom. They only had 4, I think, in the world at that point. One of 2, one of what, the little numbers that come. So I said, I was in a really great space. And so I said, it's time for me to do for him what he's always did for me. I've had every car in the world, so I know I got the car credit to get it. My personal credit is good. Let me just go in Bentley. It took me 5 minutes to get that car. He had his girlfriend post a picture. You know how people try to break their neck to show you the sign of the car? 10,000 people sent me that picture off that girl Instagram page. And I couldn't unsee it. The level of betrayal
and disrespect
I felt. And she can't even get you a Honda in her name. She can't even go get you a used car.
You mentioned that you made him start wearing a condom. How did that conversation go? How do you say to your husband,
don't touch me unless you got one? It ain't easy or smooth, and it ain't in a low tone. You're nasty.
But how do you even still want to have sex with him at that point?
We barely had sex. I didn't care who he had sex with at that point. It didn't
because
matter.
Once at a certain point, there's a disconnection.
We were only together because we had businesses together and stuff like that. So when we broke up the second time, it wasn't hard for me because we wasn't in love. Like, I wasn't in love with him. I absolutely don't think he was in love with me. But we was together. We had these kids. We have this family. We have these businesses. We have so much together that to unravel it is going to be hell to pay. And so that's what we were still together about.
So people don't understand that. When you start thinking about being in business, being in relationships, being extremely successful, is not as easy to just walk away.
Okay.
There is so many other things that you have to put in place before you can actually walk away. And so people need to think about that.
I lost so much money. I lost over $5 million getting a divorce. I shut down all of my companies. I was making $70,000 to $100,000 a month with my businesses online, all of them. I shut them all down. Mentally, I was in a disarray. And I'm a talker, so I make money by talking. I couldn't even pull my personality together. So you can't pull your personality together. You can't make no money. You can't sell nothing. And then his attorney would plaster my bank statements, Exhibit 1, Exhibit 2, Exhibit 3, Exhibit, to see my life in a courtroom was probably the most devastating thing I've ever been through.
Were they trying to take from you, or were they?
They wanted everything. They wanted spousal support, $52,000 a month in spousal support.
Even though he had all the money too.
Well, you can't track it.
Right. It's untrackable. Right. So, but why would he want to take from you?
Because he was upset that we was getting a divorce.
So he wanted you to stay. So what's next, Shaunell? What's next for you?
So I'm not sure yet. I kind of take the days day by day. You know, like, so I'm gonna be Dr. Kenard October 5th.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that.
Congratulations.
I have been weaponized by my journey for the last couple years. That's how I feel. Like, people try to use it against me. Even when I meet other men, they be like, oh, you know, she been married a bunch of times. Oh, you know, she didn't want to get that man none of his jewelry back. Like, so now 2024 was the year for me to tell my side of the story. Because I had never said it. So like I was so vocal about my relationship. I haven't been vocal about my breakup. So you haven't seen what went on, what happened, because I wasn't quite sure how to put it out there. And I know I wasn't going to do it for free. So I was like, that's why I created the book. I created the book because you're going to buy this story. It is not going to be told on an Instagram Live.
That's right.
And I'm going to use it as something for other people to learn from. So God put me through all the hardship. He put me through all the things because he know I'm a vocal person. He did this to me so I can share the story. And then now I still haven't lost my faith. I still haven't lost throughout all of the stuff that I lost. I still believe that God is really good to me. And my friends be like, how do you keep saying God is good to you? Because he is. Girl, this could have been bad. And it was bad. I lost a bunch of money, but I'm still here. All the knowledge that my ex-husband gave to me and provided to me, I still have it. Those are still tools I'm able to use to get all my money back. Like, and life for me is not all about money no more. Now, I'm going to have me some money. I'm going to work every day, honey. I ain't doing nothing broke. You hear me? I'm still going to have I still have nice houses. I still have nice cars. I still am able to do a lot of things that I was able to do while I was married. The difference now is I have a lot more peace. I'm not like dead in the inside like I used to be.
You're not worried about every time you turn your phone on.
Baby, it's dry. You hear me? It's so dry. But I choose for it to be that way. It's just, I needed to figure out what Shaunell liked. Because for so long, I was just, let me give me a husband. Let me give me a husband. Let me give me a husband. Because
let me ask you this too, Shaunell. Not to cut you off, but you changed your name from Miss Conceited online to Shaunell Kennard. As we get to a close, why did you change your name?
Because I wanted people to know who I actually was. Miss Conceited is somebody I created. So she's a part, so I'm a Gemini. So I have two parts. Everybody know this Gemini Miss Conceited, but nobody knew the Gemini Shaunell. Those are two different people. Miss Conceited, she gonna get her some money. She not playing no games. She was gonna knock you over. I still have that Instagram page. It's just another Instagram page. It's not my main page. But when I was talking to corporate people, and when I wanted to do like corporate speaking, the word conceited just doesn't turn over well with everybody. So the name of my company was Conceited Inc. My first company that did 7 figures, that was the name. So I'm like, okay, I'm Miss Conceited, right? But that doesn't fare well with everybody. Like, if I want to go to the White House and talk to the president, they don't want to talk to Miss Conceited. I want them to talk to Shaunell.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying? So I had to then get the world to see Shaunell. And
there was an elevation in your brand of growth.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want everybody. When I'm in the airport, Miss Conceited. Oh, that's Miss Conceited husband. Oh, that. No, I'm Shaunell. And I want people to know me as Shaunell, because Shaunell has a bunch of different parts to her that some are not so great in people's opinion, but they're all my true self. And so I didn't no longer want people to just call me Miss Conceited, because I feel like I'm going to be talking to people on big conferences, on big stages. They needed to know Shaunell Kennard.
That's the next step for you.
That's my next step.
Well, I want to thank you for coming down, spending some time with us. I know that you only specifically chose certain outlets to share your story.
Yes.
And I'm honored that you chose to come out, and you were very transparent, very honest, and I know that your story is going to help so many other women. Thank you so much, Shaunell.
Get the book. It's on my website, ShaunellKennard.com. The 5th time is a charm.
Thank you, guys. See you next time. Welcome to Coinology, the podcast.
You ain't getting no money if you constantly worried about what everybody else got to say. If you constantly got your eyes on what everybody else doing, you ain't getting no money. When it comes down to closing a deal, I get it done. Every single one. I'm the certified deal closer.
Welcome to Coinology, the podcast.